This video is sponsored by NordVPN. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Reddit. They're everywhere. Thousands engineered day to day, completely for free by people who put blood, sweat and tears into their work. And the results? Absolutely incredible. The process of making a meme is simple. Grab an expressive or well-known image, import it to Photoshop, then recontextualize it by adding relatable or accurate captions. Alternatively, just deep fry the living shit out of it. Then upload it to a platform of your choice. And if it's popular enough, it might even be taken by others, recaptioned, and then re-uploaded to other platforms in a cycle that lasts for weeks, until the meme has been exhausted of all of its humour, and finally, laid to rest. The last few years have seen memes explode in reach. It's even gotten to the point where politicians and political parties are posting them. Memes have become massive, but they aren't anything new. In fact, they've actually been around since the mid-90s. They have changed forms pretty considerably though. It's the year 2000. The Y2K bug has not caused the untold devastation that some had predicted, and people are optimistic. The internet has been publicly available for 9 years now, and it's still in its very early stages, with sites like YouTube and Facebook still another 4 years away. But by this point, the memes had already started. For an idea of some of the internet's first memes, one was a gif of a dancing baby, another a line from a poorly translated arcade game.
All your base are belong to us, don't ask what it means.
Social media was incredibly bare bones at the time, so if you wanted to share one of these bad boys, it was either through bulletin boards, direct messaging, or good old email. When it came to text-based memes, the late 90s introduced demotivational posters that subverted the common motivational posters for comedic effect. Then in 2005, someone on 4chan decided to put text over pictures of cats, and the people loved it. This text format was then adopted to other images. If you're older than 13, you've probably seen at least one of these. Memes have since evolved over the years, and at this point, they're almost universally known. For good, or for bad.
Where's bisexual sauce? I'm Pickle Rick! What beloved dum-dum!
But it wasn't just pictures of cats with text on and baby gifs that went viral. Actual people did too. If you befell this fate, you'd be launched to stardom in a matter of days. Some people lavished this newfound celebrity status, living the life of a rock star, and possibly even becoming elected. But becoming a meme was not such a great experience for everyone. Lies, lawsuits, hit pieces, and just overall embarrassment could seep through the cracks of the glory, and would plague those unfortunate souls for years on end. These are their stories. (2002), a time characterised by an overwhelming amount of Nokia bricks, the Harry Potter films, and a freshly elected Bush administration. But more importantly, the Star Wars prequels. Enter Ghislaine Raza. Ghislaine was just a regular 14-year-old attending high school in Trois-Rivières, Canada. However, very soon he would come to be known worldwide as a Jedi Knight. On November the 4th, Ghislaine was in the studio room of his high school and wielding nothing but a golf ball retriever.
Nice.
Recorded himself pretending to be a Jedi. That recording was never supposed to leave the room, but Ghislaine made a fatal mistake. The incriminating tape was left in a basement of the school, and in April 2003, a few other students discovered the footage. One of them turned the tape into video, then distributed it around the school. Soon, everyone in the school had seen it. It didn't take long for it to spread around the internet, and needless to say, it blows the fuck up. It's estimated that, by November of 2006, the clip had been viewed around 1 billion times. Once again, the video was going round at a time before YouTube. This was the most viewed video on the internet by far at this point. Naturally, he was dubbed Star Wars Kid. And then came the edits. Star Wars Kid in a canoe. Star Wars Kid in the Matrix. Star Wars Kid in Star Wars. It was featured and alluded to in countless television shows, and Ghislaine said that almost every talk show in North America asked him to come on. He declined all of them. A petition was even made to include him in the next Star Wars film. The petition reached 140,000 signatures, but unfortunately, he was not offered the cameo. But what seemed to be nothing more than a funny joke turned out to be a bit more sinister than what met the eye. After the video went around the school, Ghislaine's classmates would apparently jump on tables in front of other students and proceed to hurl insults at him about it. When it hit the web, things got a lot worse. Random people were sending him messages. They were not nice. He lost friends at school, and it got so bad that he actually had to leave the school, substituting it with private tutoring. He also had to see a therapist. He went through such an ordeal that, for years after the event, he would do his best to distance himself from the identity of the Star Wars kid. But there was a problem. People kept recognising him. Eventually, he ended up just giving up and coming out. In 2003, he sued the families of the children who put the video on the internet for around $250,000. They reached an undisclosed settlement 3 years later, but the money he received ended up not even covering the costs of therapy and private tutoring. We haven't heard much since. Quickly before we move on, did you know that browsing the internet is dangerous? Here are the facts. There is a man at the NSA at this very moment watching your every move. So don't skip this ad, he might be interested in NordVPN too. Fact number 2. Internet service providers like Verizon and BT track your internet use and then sell it on to advertisers. And fact number 3. Hackers can exploit unsecure connections to get inside your system, and from there, they can steal your precious data. What can you do about these severe privacy risks? Well, luckily, the boys over at Nord have whipped up a military-grade encryption VPN. With NordVPN, your IP address is hidden. This means internet service providers and hackers can't track what you do, and that NSA man now has to work even harder to find you. To them, you could be anywhere.
Finally awake.
All of this and more on super fast service, and there's 5,500 of them. Unlimited bandwidth, 2 times the encryption, use of up to 6 devices at once. It even works in China. But wait, you're having a problem with NordVPN? There's 24-hour support. For some reason it's not for you, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. And NordVPN is 70% off using the link below. That's $3.49 a month, plus a month free. Just go to nordvpn.com/bigboss or use the code BIGBOSS at checkout. April 2005. World of Warcraft is massive. The game just reached an estimated 1.5 million monthly subscribers just 5 months after release. And in this same month, 24-year-old Ben Schultz and his friends record a video that goes down in the history books. A rough go first appears on a World of Warcraft video hosting site called Warcraft Movies. The video starts with Ben's in-game character, Leroy Jenkins, standing at the gates of a raid with a group of friends, while they carefully plan the odds of survival. But there's a twist. Ben has chugged 2 pints of G Fuel beforehand. It quickly becomes the most downloaded video on the site, and people flock to Warcraft Movies just to witness it. The following weeks see the forums flooded with Leroy Jenkins comments. In August 2006, the video blows up on YouTube, and Leroy Jenkins goes mainstream. It becomes such a staple in the fanbase of World of Warcraft that the developers actually try to embrace it, with Leroy Jenkins becoming a trading card in a few of their games, and a character in a World of Warcraft expansion. Ben was also invited to their annual conventions, where he would ascend on stage and shout Leroy Jenkins as loud as he could into the audience. But it wasn't all sunshine and roses. An insane amount of people had seen the video. This meant Leroy had fans. A lot of them. This made playing the game a bit more difficult than it used to be, as wherever Ben would go, an army of fans would be marching behind him, uttering those famous words. This went on for months. Apparently on one occasion, an actual enraged mother logged on and shouted at Ben because her son wouldn't stop shouting Leroy Jenkins. In another instance, he had an actual online stalker named Leroy's Apprentice. Leroy's Apprentice would apparently follow him around the game religiously and wanted to hang out with him all the time. But it wasn't just the fans, as it turned out that some people actually weren't too happy about the viral video, and so Ben got his fair share of hate as well. Shortly after the video blew up, Ben and the boys tried to cash in on the insane spread of Leroy Jenkins, so they made some merchandise. Unfortunately, the clothing couldn't compete with the sea of Jenkins merchandise already on the market, although they did manage to sell a thong with Ben's face on it. They also had no way of trademarking Leroy Jenkins because it wasn't associated with a product or service, and the game developers owned the rights to the original video and everything in it. They gave up on this business venture not long after. Ben then took up some voice lessons, and was soon offered a few announcement gigs at some video game tournaments, but that didn't last too long either. It looked like Ben was out of luck when it came to making much money from the video, but then rumours of a Leroy Jenkins character written for the recent Warcraft movie cropped up. Apparently Legendary Pictures even flew him out to Hollywood to meet some of their staff, but it would turn out that this character was in an early version of the script and was quickly scrapped. At least he was invited to the premiere.
Leroy!
Ben asked the people at Legendary Pictures that he be included in the next film. The director has since stated that there would be no sequel. June 2004, a German boy by the name of Norman Kokinowski celebrates his 13th birthday. He receives an expensive camcorder. He would use this camcorder to become one of the very first shit posters on the internet. A bit of context. Before any of this, Norman frequented a mixtape website run by a rapper whom he admired.
My crew is big.
One line from one of the rapper's mixtapes goes, "I'm a real gangster. I drive a car without a belt." Norman thought he'd parody this line, and in 2005, he shot and uploaded a video that would come to be known as "I'm a Real Gangster."
I'm a real gangster. I'm stealing in the bread shop.
This video ends up getting shared around online, and Norman then goes on to create a fictional alter ego around the video called Leopold Slick, and would continue to upload gangster videos online under this persona. These videos would range from exploding Coca-Cola on his face to singing in imitations. Eventually in 2006, he makes a video called PC Spielen, and everything changes. Now 2006 was a time, not too unlike today, where the media was intent on turning to video games to answer why children could turn violent. The media in Germany was pushing this narrative strongly at the time, and a few German politicians were actively discussing it. One even called for an outright ban on them. So keeping that in mind, Norman uploads PC Spielen, a video where he pretends to play Unreal Tournament and get a bit angry. The video gets around online, and eventually Norman is approached by German media company Focus TV, who ask if they can use the clip for a documentary. He agrees. They were then given the rights to PC Spielen, and subsequently shot a documentary called Leopold. This is when things started to turn sour. The documentary ended up making Norman out to be some sort of deranged kid that violent video games had negatively affected. They even went to the lengths of making a completely fake backstory for the video, suggesting that the father had set up a hidden camera to get footage of his ADHD son playing a video game. That was just a shameless lie, but then the documentary started to gain some traction. As a result, PC Spielen went viral, spawning dozens of edits and Norman's worldwide recognition as the angry German kid. He was famous. There was just one problem. Everyone absolutely hated him. Now 2006 was also a time when YouTube was more of an authentic place than it is today. A time where most of the videos were breakdown, DIY and otherwise educationally oriented. In other words, Norman was very ahead of his time. People thought the videos were real. They thought he was really weird. Thousands of hate comments appeared under the numerous uploads of PC Spielen. He also started to get bullied at school. He tried writing an online post explaining that the videos were staged, but no one was listening. He would end up pulling the original gangster videos, but it was too late. Dozens of re-uploads were already around. It was out of Norman's hands. He announced that no more videos would be released because of the situation, and disappeared from the internet without a trace. There would be no more real gangster. Although 6 years later, he would come back to YouTube as a bodybuilder and a rapper. Fuck Parade, Berlin, July 2000. An experimental video artist by the name of Matthias Fritsch records a 4-minute clip of an absolutely stacked Nordic-looking man dancing down the street to techno music. Matthias uploads it to his website, and not much happens for about 6 years. But then in 2006 he uploads it to YouTube, and in 2007 it goes viral. The Techno Viking becomes world famous, and Matthias earns around $10,000 through YouTube ads and licensing over the first 2 years of it going viral. But 2 years later, a letter would arrive on Matthias's doorstep. It was the Viking. He wasn't happy. It turned out to be a letter from the Techno Viking's lawyer, and upon opening it, Matthias saw that the anonymous Viking was demanding he remove the video from the internet and never use it for commercial purposes again. This demand didn't make too much sense, as there were dozens of re-uploads already floating around online, but it would be a $250,000 fine if he failed to comply. Not only take down the videos, but the Viking demanded €13,000 for damages. That and the €10,000 in legal fees added up to €23,000 that Matthias had to pay, rendering him bankrupt. The German court ultimately ruled that everyone else in the world was free to upload the video, besides Matthias. Matthias could never touch the video again. The Techno Viking was not a big fan of the video. It apparently took him 2 years to even find out about it, and when he did, he was not happy. This was partly because the man was on copious amounts of speed at the time of recording. He tried to stay off the radar for the following years after the video, and his identity was never actually uncovered, although rumours popped up here and there. He's only revealed his actual identity in the last few years, and what little information we now know of the man is that his first name is Gunther. That's about it. The rest is still a mystery. Also, the Techno Viking is now a Fortnite dance. May 27th, 1999. A young gorilla is born at Gladys Porter Zoo, Texas. His name is Harambee. In 2014, he was transferred to Cincinnati Zoo, and unfortunately, Harambee would meet his end here just 2 years later. May 28th, 2016. Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Garden. The time hits 4 o'clock and a 3-year-old begins his journey into a gorilla enclosure, climbing a 3-foot fence, crawling through 4 feet of bushes, and then falling 15 feet into the shallow water of the pit. Things go south from there. Upon realising that a child was in the pit, the zookeepers signal for the 3 gorillas in the enclosure to return inside. 2 of the gorillas follow orders, but the 3rd gorilla goes rogue. This gorilla is Harambee. Instead, he climbs down into the shallow waters to investigate the splashing. Now at this point, the crowd is screaming at the sight of a 400-pound gorilla nearing a child. Harambee can't take the pressure and gets agitated and defensive. He stands over the child before dragging him through the shallow water. This is not an ideal situation for anyone, and the clock is ticking. There are 2 main options. Option 1, they could tranquilise Harambee, but this comes with a few problems. The tranquilization could take a few minutes to kick in, and his unconscious body could fall on the kid. Option 2 involves a hunting rifle. Eventually, the head zookeeper makes the executive decision: eliminate the ape. They took the shot, and tragically, Harambee was no more. This sparked RIP Harambee protests outside of the zoo for a few days, and for weeks after the ape's demise, the commemorative displays were being parodied online. People targeted some of the memes at Cincinnati Zoo's social media accounts. So many people, in fact, that the Cincinnati Zoo was actually begging people to stop. People didn't stop. Cincinnati Zoo had no choice. They had to go offline. Petitions popped up on change.org demanding justice for Harambee, one even reaching 500,000 signatures, and the hashtag Dicks Out for Harambee went viral. A Harambee statue was erected, people got tattoos of Harambee, apparently people voted for Harambee. He was everywhere. And naturally, this brought a lot of attention to the head zookeeper and the parents of the child, and they started to have some problems. First off was the head zookeeper. It was his Twitter. It kept getting hacked. The since deleted tweets read, "I was planning this for a while. So sorry it took so long, brother. Have a good time in heaven. Hashtag Harambee." And Harambee 1, Cincinnati Zoo 0. The head zookeeper retrieved his account and deleted the tweets. Then came another tweet, simply, hashtag Dicks Out for Harambee. The zookeeper re-retrieved his account and deleted the tweet. The parents of the child also had problems. Hordes of people attacked the mother over Facebook and Twitter for not keeping an eye on her child, and that petition I mentioned earlier, it was made to incite an investigation into whether the parents were fit enough to raise their 4 kids. The mother made the backlash even worse by posting a lengthy statement on Facebook, thanking God, and not really showing any sympathy for the gorilla. She got so much hate that she ended up deleting her Facebook account. And so, the cautionary tales of internet fame gone wrong come to a close. But one thing is certain: becoming a meme is a dance with death. It can shoot you to the stars, shower you with money, and even, unfortunately for us, launch a rap career. But bankruptcy, lawsuits, and God forbid, even being unable to play World of Warcraft is never off the table.